all that I've been warning about in terms of AI all these decades now is clearly unfolding. The West is at war with Russia and China via the proxies, Ukraine and Iran. It's just not official yet. And the power, as I've been saying since the 1990s, is planned to move eastwards to China, the center of global power. And that brings me to another major development this week, which is China and AI. Again, to understand what's happening with AI, we have to realize that there is a global network, the global cult, and it's working through all these different countries, which in the play out level of what you see on the news and the internet appear to be in conflict, and up to certain levels of knowledge in the know, they are believing that they're in conflict. But you go deep enough and it's a global agenda from a global network. And AI is the outcome that I've been warning about for decades to totally control human society, including human AI fusion, so AI becomes the human mind, ultimately. And so you've got what is really like a sporting event that's been created, at least in the public mind.
Data brokers are making billions selling your information to spammers, scammers, hackers, even stalkers. Today's sponsor, Cloaked, challenged us to put our phone number into their tool. The results were shocking. It knew our name, address, even social security number. Every time you sign up for something, an app, a free trial, a random website, you're feeding the machine, and they're betting you won't do anything about it. But here's the real problem. Most so-called privacy services, they clean things up after your data is already out there. Meanwhile, you keep creating new vulnerabilities every single time you enter your real email, phone number, or name online. That's the loop. That's where Cloaked comes in. Cloaked doesn't just go out and remove your data from shady broker sites, it also stops the problem at the source. Inside the app, you can generate unlimited burner emails, usernames, and phone numbers whenever you sign up for anything. You can even call, text, and email directly through those burners. Then, data brokers can't tie anything back to you. Not only is your identity protected, but the data they're buying becomes completely useless. Cloaked also goes way further than that. It monitors the dark web and alerts you if your info gets exposed. It has a built-in VPN and password manager, AI-powered spam call filtering. And they even back it all up with a $1 million identity theft insurance policy. If you're ready to take it all back and protect yourself, head to cloaked.com/anonymous and try it today. The link is in the description.
Where you've got Silicon Valley and your Musks and your Thiels and all these, the Altmans and all these people involved in artificial intelligence. And it's been set up as a sporting event against China. We must beat China. We can't let China win the AI race for dominance. But you go to that level, the cult level, and it's all theater. Because the outcome planned at that level is that this sporting event leads to AI control of the world. And we've had developments on that front this week. Oh, by the way, I should mention that while this sporting event is going on, we must beat the Chinese, it's been revealed that US and China academics, scientists, computer people have collaborated on 46,000 papers in the last 10 years. And that's US, China, the biggest number of AI collaborations of any two nations in the world. And they're supposed to be in competition with each other. So here's a story from this week. China, Russia, 28 others sign agreement for World Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Organization. 29 nations have entered into an agreement in Shanghai, China, to establish the World Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Organization, known as WAHICO. I think that's how you pronounce it. I couldn't find any pronunciation, but WAHICO. And it's dominated, of course, by China and Russia that are very, very much in AI and other alliance. Now, during the World AI Conference in Shanghai, the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, declared that China will offer 5,000 opportunities for AI training and seminar programs to developing nations. Ooh, I wonder why. In addition to fostering AI collaboration with various groups, including the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and the League of Arab States and the African Union. Now, why would China want to collaborate and release its AI technology and its AI know-how to all these other countries, not least through what's called open source? Because what is the outcome? The outcome is that with the Chinese AI so much cheaper than the Silicon Valley version, you have the proliferation of AI control right across the world. That's the idea. According to the agreement, WAHICO will function as an independent intergovernmental international organization based in Shanghai. And among the attendees at the signing ceremony was the United Nations Secretary General, Guterres, along with representatives from various countries and international organizations. Its objective is to enhance international cooperation and global governance in the field of AI, ensuring that AI is, quote, advantageous, secure, and equitable, thus fostering its healthy and orderly development for the benefit of all humanity. Yes, I'm sure it's for the benefit of humanity. Now, the Chinese president called for the world to encourage open source, openness, collaboration, and sharing. And what does that really mean? Open source, it means available to all, and in terms of the Chinese version, at a very much cheaper price. And indeed, through open source, maybe not even any price at all. And when you think that China, with its social credit system and its AI camera surveillance control system that's so advanced compared with the rest of the world. China is the blueprint for how the world is planned to change and be controlled. And now we have China basically driving the AI global agenda. So this is a report on that Shanghai conference.
President Xi spoke at China's World AI Conference here in Shanghai, and he pitched for Beijing to lead the AI world order. He took a veiled swipe at the U.S.'s proprietary models by saying that AI development, quote, should not be a solo performance. He also called for efforts to avoid what he described as historical injustice in AI. And he also praised what's being seen here as China's answer to the U.S.'s Pax Silica initiative. So this is a group that was established last year, but didn't really get much membership until this week. 29 countries are going to be, or have already joined, not the United States. And this is meant to share technology and expertise in AI, and ultimately to help set new standards when it comes to AI, as well as rules. Now, President Xi had also cautioned against what he described as overstretching the concept of national security when it comes to AI. And today he's been preaching a whole lot of openness, in contrast, or at least to attempt to contrast, the Chinese perspective versus the U.S. Closed model. Now, of course, openness in China is not really clear in terms of what they actually mean, because even though this is the World AI Conference, OpenAI, Anthropic, the big LLMs are not here, and generally the Chinese don't allow them to operate in China.
This whole theme of open sourcing Chinese AI is highly, highly significant. And this was a Canadian reporter called Alex Reportify, appropriately, and he went on the Russian station RT to talk about the Shanghai conference and this highly significant theme of open source. Something else I've been talking about is, and again, you got to be mad, the Ike's got to be mad, is the creation through low orbit satellites of a hive mind, a human collective hive mind, through a technologically generated electromagnetic field. I go into all this in the books. And these low orbit satellites are being put up there by people, at least officially, like Elon Musk with Starlink and SpaceX, and Jeff Bezos, and of course, China. And they're being put up there on the basis of, oh, it's giving internet connection to the world. Okay, but what's the real reason? And I saw this story this week. Starlink satellites are leaking signals that interfere with our most sensitive radio telescopes. When I was a child, the writer says, in the 1970s, seeing a satellite pass overhead in the night sky was a rare event. Now it is commonplace. Sit outside for a few minutes after dark and you can't miss them. Thousands of satellites have been launched into Earth orbit over the past decade or so, with tens of thousands more planned in coming years. Many of these will be in mega constellations, such as Starlink, which aims to cover the entire globe. Now, while I read this story, here is an animation of the explosion of these satellites between 1957 and 2025. The story goes on. These bright, shiny satellites are putting at risk our connection to the cosmos, which has been important to humans for countless millennia and has already been greatly diminished by the growth of cities and artificial lighting. They are also posing a problem for astronomers and hence for our understanding of the universe. In new research accepted for publication in Astronomy and Astrophysics Letters, we discovered Starlink satellites are also leaking radio signals that interfere with radio astronomy. Even in a radio quiet zone in outback Western Australia, we found the satellite emissions were far brighter than any natural source in the sky. Our team at Curtin University used radio telescopes in Western Australia to examine the radio signals coming from satellites. We found expected radio transmissions at designated and licensed radio frequencies used for communication with Earth. Starlink satellites emit bright flashes of radio transmission at their allocated frequency of 137.5 megahertz. However, we also found signals at unexpected and unintended, frequencies. We found these signals coming from many Starlink satellites. It appears the signals may originate from electronics on board the spacecraft. Here we see constant bright emissions from Starlink satellites at 159.4 megahertz, a frequency not allocated to satellite communications. So, SpaceX Starlink, the front man is Elon Musk. I also saw a clip this week of Elon Musk talking about digital human emulators, which he said will give everyone access to trillions of dollars. Well, it won't be everyone, of course. It will be his mates, his billionaire mates, and those that control his billionaire mates. Now, I'll come to this digital human emulator in a second and what it actually is, but this is what Musk said.
As soon as you unlock digital human, you basically have access to trillions of dollars of revenue. In fact, you can really think of it like the most valuable companies currently by market cap, their output is digital. NVIDIA's output is FTPing files to Taiwan. It's digital.
Right.
Now, those are very, very difficult to...
high-value files.
They're the only ones that can make files that good. But that is literally their output. They FTP files to Taiwan.
Do they FTP them?
I believe so. I believe that is the
SFTP.
file transfer protocol. I believe is but I could be wrong. But either way, it's a bit stream going to Taiwan.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't make phones. They send files to China. Microsoft doesn't manufacture anything. Even for Xbox, that's outsourced. Their output is digital. Meta's output is digital. Google's output is digital. So if you have a human emulator, you can basically create one of the most valuable companies in the world overnight, and you would have access to trillions of dollars of revenue. It's not like a small amount.
So what is a digital human emulator? Well, we have a former employee who it's said was fired for revealing this, an employee of Musk's AI company, XAI, who described what these emulators are. And when you hear what he said, anyone working with computers, how do you think this will affect your employment prospects? What is a digital human emulator?